I said, you got to have a weekly review
You
with
really
the people involved.
Yeah, you really do.
This is what we said we do this week.
Yep.
Are we doing it? You okay? It just takes a constantly going back to that thing.
Yep.
And most of us don't have the patience or discipline or the quote time to do that, but it's necessary. All right, here we go again. Eric's waiting on me, he says.
Yep.
After he set his phone down 10 seconds ago. It's the way it is, though, isn't it?
It's how we roll, man.
It is indeed.
I mean, just freaking roll.
It is good. It's good to be here with you.
You too, buddy.
Always is. You look good.
Thanks, man.
You're getting younger.
I am, man, with my little 2-day beard.
Yeah, exactly. Cultivate that.
Yeah.
You set the shaver on like the lowest possible setting you can, and then just keep it look like that.
Keep it tight, baby.
Yeah.
Keep it tight.
Yeah. So, hey, we're back again with another episode of
Big Talk
about
small business.
All right. Here we are in Rogers, Arkansas, in the beautiful podcast videos studio. .com, I should say. Podcastvideos.com studio.
That's it, man.
And it's a beautiful day outside. And today, we're going to talk about the life and lessons of leadership.
That's a really big topic.
It is. It's a big topic.
Where do you even start?
Well, I don't know. Do you have any particular thoughts on giving us a historic perspective on leadership that you'd like to share?
I mean, you bust me out by my failure to prepare, man. I don't really, other than, I don't. I mean, I think that...
well, I know you've done some reading on past leaders and entrepreneurial leaders.
Yeah.
I think one thing we both agree on, they don't fit one mold.
No, I mean, that's why it's a little confusing to point it out, because I just think that it's just so complex, right?
Yes, it is.
And even the word leadership, like I think that there is, and it's worth mentioning this from my perspective, there is a leader in corporate.
Yeah.
And then there's the leader as an entrepreneur.
I'm going to take notes today.
Sweet, man. Because the leader in corporate, I think, is a whole different skill set.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing, at least from my experience, is that there's a lot more content. There's a lot more direction. There's more books. There's more processes. There's more
on corporate.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, disagree with you.
Like in
there's a lot more research on corporate.
Tremendous amount of research. There's a whole industry based on leadership in corporate. And
you're right.
And I'll be honest, I've met some absolutely fantastic leaders, in the corporate side of things that I do learn some lessons from, but I do find that they're not really always applicable in the entrepreneurship landscape, because the difference is that, what I've seen is in corporate, there's a lot more resources.
It's exactly what I was going to say. Resources coupled with tremendous momentum.
Yes.
Okay. Those two things.
And another thing is financial stability.
Oh, yeah.
To last long enough to contemplate, study, and execute good leadership principles.
It's so
true. But you don't have the entrepreneurship.
I know. Again, I'm like, one of my companies, I'm like, I got to pay some vendors today. I don't have any money. We're like 6 weeks behind.
What kind of leadership principles can you exercise with that?
I just need some cash now. Today.
I'm telling you, man.
I mean, but yeah, you're right.
In my experience in entrepreneurship, leadership comes down to just you doing, and others follow what you do. Like, you could speak to your blue in the face on leadership in small business, and people will listen to you. But as soon as you walk out that door, like, unless you're kind of practicing what you've been preaching to the T, because everyone's watching, you can do that in a bigger corporation, because I think that you have more of a narrow you have a very narrow thing that you're actually doing. You're overseeing a department versus the entire company.
Well, maybe it is the entire company, but there's a narrow view into what you're doing that is exposed to people.
That, and then there's also people underneath you that are taking care of more isolated areas.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
CEO of a major company, you have a CFO, you have a COO, you have a CMO, you have a chief business officer, you have
who hopefully are some competent, highly compensated people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you can lead that group that leads these other groups that leads all these things, and it cascades down. Yeah, that's where all the leadership discussions are at. But in an entrepreneurial landscape, when you're a small business and it's you and 10 other people, like your leadership is legitimately like you're in the weeds and doing.
I agree. Can I say two things about that?
Yeah.
Number one, this is precisely my problem with Good to Great. And everybody treats it like it's some kind of a Bible, and we all have to be level 5 leaders. Level 5 leaders work great in large organizations that have been around a long time with billions of dollars of revenue or capitalization. And those are the examples that are cited.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there I can have no ego, and I can, get the right people on the bus and all the rest of the bullshit that goes along with that. Okay. And not be charismatic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But when you have a small company, that goes out the window. All right.
Agreed.
Yeah, it'd be great. We need to be totally replaceable. Good. Okay. We're not there yet, though. Okay. And we're not there yet.
Can I talk about that?
Yeah.
It would be the worst mistake you ever made as an entrepreneur running a small business to be replaceable.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, like, seriously, like, how are you going to do that? Do you really want to be replaced when you don't, like, you're not, like, you get replaced when you exit.
Yeah.
Right? Not when the company grows to a sufficient level. But if you're a small business, don't even have in your mind, if you try to hire people that are smarter than you could be setting yourself up for some absolute disasters.
Probabilities are you will set yourself up for disaster, in my opinion.
If you hired somebody that's smarter than you in a certain area, they come in, they're going to try to run the area. It's going to be nothing but a massive conflict, because that person that's smarter than you most likely came from a bigger corporation. They're not going to understand small business, the cash that you need today. And so everything needs to be relentless about going out and selling, billing, whatever it takes to make sure that the thing works and operates. They don't understand that, because there's not security in small business. There's not longevity. There's not all these resources that you have to survive through these things.
Yes. And that's brings me to my other point that I want to make, besides the level 5 issue. And that is that
spit it out.
No, leadership is really is dependent on the situation.
Yeah.
We can't necessarily generalize and say, well, this is the way one has to be. I mean, there may be certain common characteristics, okay, that we could say are as generalizations, but there's always going to be exceptions to it.
Yeah.
But, every situation is different. But I do want to come back, though, to the other, another thing I wanted to respond to, and based on what you were saying, you got to get down in the weeds as a leader in a small business. That is, we probably said it on this show before, but I don't like the mantra that we need to work on our business, not in our business. We've got to work in the business.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
We need to do something productive that advances the business that people are willing to pay us to do.
Constantly.
That's how we find out if our people are any good, is by working with them. It's how we find out how customers react, or clients, based on interacting directly with them. It's how we figure out how long things take. It's how we figure out what the barriers are to doing a good job. All this, the only way we're going to figure that out is by working in the business.
That's right.
Okay.
Agreed. I agree.
We've got to do both. Yeah, we've got to spend the time to sharpen our axe and figure out where we're trying to go and implement systems and all the other stuff that'll advance the business, right, as a business. But yeah, we've got to be in it.
You really do, because, and I think that, one of my biggest pitfalls that I keep finding myself in is whenever I start thinking I don't have to work with customers.
Oh, yeah.
Or be part of the sales process.
Yeah.
Or calling people, making connections, closing deals, giving demos of the product.
I know.
Building the sell sheets, building the pricing model. Like, dude, you got to be in all of that.
You see every problem.
Absolutely.
And opportunity.
Well, what do you think? Another big separator of the entrepreneur, by definition, they see a market and they take personal financial risk.
Yeah.
For their business. Right. That's the entrepreneur.
Right.
That personal financial risk is a big one, because what happens is that I don't know of anybody that I've met or rarely have met, that as an employee of a company really cares about the financial well-being of that company. I mean, genuinely. And I'm not talking about...
There are some.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
but it's
have
rare.
A psychological ownership.
It's rare.
For the situation. Yeah, it's rare. That's a very dedicated individual, obviously.
Because if the company shut down, what are they're worried.
They get a new job.
Exactly.
Right.
That's taking a personal financial worry about my personal life. And if the company does bad, then therefore I might be affected personally. That's different than as an entrepreneur. When I think about the company's finances, I immediately think about, number one, the opportunity is lost.
Right.
Number two, the people on the team aren't employed with me anymore.
They're screwed.
Or they're not going to be part of this.
Right.
They lost the opportunity too.
Sure, exactly.
And so like all the time that I've spent working with these people, it's going to be decimated.
Right. All the customers or clients you have
gone.
They're not going to be able to get any service from you, right?
Yeah, the vision's gone. The company dies.
Yeah.
The identity of that company, the self-sustaining business itself is dead. I'm not really worried about my personal income.
Right.
Because just like anybody else, I can just go get a job.
Right.
Right. I worry about the business.
Well, I still worry about that though, because if you're personally on the debt or everything you have is at risk,
for sure,
which it is for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. And I
it could be worse than not having a job.
Well, that's
the owner.
No, 100%. Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I mean, that's the perspective that I think that, as an entrepreneur, and so when that kind of comes back to the conversation is why you need to be in the business.
Yeah.
Because no one else cares about the financial well-being
as much as you do. Yes.
And a lot of times at all. I mean, dude, I'm going to be honest with you on it. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
I've rarely met people that care about the financial well-being of the company for that reason, except the entrepreneurs, because there's not a personal tie. You need to get that. You need to get your phone.
Nope.
But there's not a personal tie. They don't have a financial risk associated with the company, so therefore they're not going to be attached to it.
Right.
And so my point is that if you don't work in the business, no one else is going to be as a personal. I
get it. No, so it's bound to go. Things are bound to go awry.
If you're a salesperson in a company, you're worried about your quota because you're worried that if you don't meet your quota, you're going to lose your job. Right. Whereas as an entrepreneur, you're worried about
you don't make enough money to give whatever. Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, if you don't make sales, the company doesn't make revenue.
Yeah.
And so all these other things happen.
You got more at risk, is what you're saying.
So that's why you need to be in the goddamn business, in the sales calls, understanding all the problems, getting the feedback, because therefore you're listening better.
Exactly. Well, it's just, I can't tell you how many people, I mean, again, I think we've covered this on the show before that I talked to. They start a business and within 2 years, they're like, now I want to hire a manager. So I have this passive income coming in from this small business over here. And then I'm going to do whatever I do in my other job. I'm like, give up. You just blew it.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the time, the odds are that you just blew it. If that's your attitude, you're way too early to be thinking about that at the stage you're at. Okay. It isn't going to happen.
And that's why we've talked about a lot, like when you work at a major corporation, I think it's extremely there's a lot of hidden risk and problems of having those resources and being a great leader at a corporate environment and then trying to be and then going into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Because they don't marry up. Because if you could be an excellent leader at Walmart or Tyson,
right,
or wherever, and then you start your own business, and all those leadership principles that you've learned and practiced and studied and well, and you're a hero over here, you might find yourself in a really bad spot over here.
It's true.
And I think that comes back to there's a difference between a leader in an entrepreneur environment than there is in a big company.
I mean, I've even experienced that, and I'm sure you probably have too.
Yeah.
Like if we take like our primary businesses that grew and grew and grew to a certain point, if you take like Zweig White in its first iteration or whatever, where you've got good second tier and the second tier has good people reporting to them.
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing than when you come back and suddenly like you've got to do everything. You're starting all over again, or you start a new business, right?
Yeah.
Where you're doing it all over again. And it takes like a little adjustment period
100%
to go through that. Now, at least you have the experience of you started it. So you have that perspective. But when I think about people who are really successful in corporate America, and I do admire them.
I do too.
Okay.
100%.
Doug McMillan, great example. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's like 2 or 3 things that stand out there. One is he did start out at a very low level doing.
Yeah.
And so he got the chance to rise through the ranks and sort of see how everything worked. He didn't just come in from the outside and get this big monster to manage, right?
Right.
That's one thing. The second thing is that people that really do well like that, they've got super high goals and expectations.
Yeah.
Their goals are just a lot higher
They're champions
than most people. Okay.
They're winners.
They're going for that brass ring out there.
That's right.
And it's like, mediocrity or achieving a certain level of success that's better than their friends, but maybe that doesn't mean anything to them. Okay. They want to maximize their potential. And they're just very, very goal oriented, super disciplined people. No matter how much success they have, they keep reaching out for more.
Keep perfecting.
Yeah, that's a quality I think that defines them.
Yes.
Not necessarily all small business owners think like that, though.
No.
They get to a certain level where they achieve what they want to achieve, and then maybe their motivation wanes, or they get bored, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I think those people have that not necessarily all small business owners or entrepreneurs have is, again, the emotional intelligence, the political skills
100%.
that maybe you don't need so much when you're the ruler in a small business. You can rule with impunity. Okay. You know what I mean?
100%.
So they got those things going for them.
They're perfect at navigating people.
Yeah.
And other smart leaders, and they know all the boxes and how to listen and how to be emotionally intelligent with them. And then they plan before they go into meetings.
We both know Matt Waller. Okay. I like to think of Matt Waller as an example.
Yeah,
of somebody. He's like
perfection.
Of course, but I mean, Matt can like negotiate all those things.
Yeah.
And yet he's always got time. He's always got a smile on his face. He always knows how to navigate whatever that complex.
He always looks beautiful. Appears beautiful.
I mean, I admire the heck out of it. That's a special person. Most of us don't have all those attributes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're out here though in the small business. Maybe we don't need all those attributes though to be successful in a small business or an entrepreneurial environment.
Yeah.
Okay. But what we do need is certain other characteristics. Okay. And those are, in my mind, we can talk about some of those, but what comes to your mind if you talk about like what characteristics does the small business owner / entrepreneur need to have? specifically?
I think that specifically they have to have really committed, strong vision.
Yeah.
And the ability to articulate that over and over and over again.
Just a relentless focus.
Just relentless focus in where the top line goal is where they're going. Because everything between point A of vision seen to point Z of vision capture is nothing but a really nasty hairball and distractions. Because as you get more people on the team, the more the vision of the company becomes it becomes more complex. It becomes more confusing. There's more distractions involved in it.
So true.
And so you have to see that North Star every time you wake up.
Right.
And every action that you take every single day has to be going towards that, because no one else can feel that. They might be able to see it at times. And I go through this all the time. I went through it with all my previous companies. I'm going through it with them now. My ability as the entrepreneur to see the vision lockstep, and I can it's so crystal clear, versus the vision of the people within the company is not the same.
Oh yeah, I know.
People in the company will see it on a Monday morning meeting,
right? And
they'll see it for 30 minutes, and then when they walk out, they don't see it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's not negative. That's just because we're in different roles and different seats. And I think that that's part of the leadership is that you have to see that, because if you lose that, it really becomes devastating to the company. Like it's just, and you can't put your hands on it.
Yeah, it's like whatever. If you remember that movie, The Never-Ending Story.
Yes. Falcor.
Yeah. The nothingness is like just taking over, right? You
remember Falcor?
It looked like a dog.
He had bubbles on his back.
Or wish dragon or luck dragon.
Yeah. You remember those bubbles on his back?
Yeah. But he looked just like a dog, though.
No,
every time I see Falcor, I just think of, a flying dog.
If I had a son, I was going to name him Falcor.
I like that. Yeah, Falcor. But no, you're right about that. It's funny because I just had a discussion with having coffee with a former student of mine. In fact, you met the guy before the before this podcast today, and we were talking about valuation. He's like, he says, how do you really value these companies? Because, I constantly beat on them that this multiple of EBIT is a bunch of crap, unless it's just a steady state, old line company that's basically been the same for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, we'll talk 4, 5, 6, 8 times, whatever multiple of EBIT you want.
Yeah.
Once I turn into a high growth company, I got a different scenario. Once I got a company that doesn't make any money, I got a different scenario.
Sure.
I can't take a company and go, you lose money, therefore your multiple of EBIT is 6 times minus $2 million. You owe $12 million.
Yeah, you have no pay me $12 million, I'll take it over for you.
You have no value. No, the value is based on the vision.
Yeah.
And whether you can sell people on the fact that you will accomplish that.
Yeah.
Are you making incremental steps along the way to achieve that vision? If I can get people to understand that, they may see that, in fact, there is value to this 100%. Damn thing, right?
100%.
And it's sort of the same thing when it comes to your employees, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of mentality.
It is. And I'm not doing the best job, and this is where I'm really self-critical, is I'm of visualizing the vision. And
painting the picture.
Painting the picture with the right materials, which usually come down to the most simple way possible. It's like you have to ladder step the vision, where I can see the end. I can see Z.
Sure.
I can see it so clear. And
yes, I know you can.
And the ladder to get there is kind of there, but who really gives a crap, right? That doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But it sure the hell matters to everybody else in the company.
Right.
And they have to see step 1, step 2, step 3. They can get a little bit of this, but if they can't see steps 1 through 3,
I can't always define all that either. I mean, sometimes we're going to skip steps 4 and 5, and
we
go from 3 to 6.
And that's okay.
Okay,
because we trust what we see, but nobody else.
Or take a real long step up that ladder.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't need it.
Yeah,
I don't need those steps.
Right,
but everybody else does, and I don't do a good enough job of leveling out. And I think that there's a discipline to that leadership that I wish that I could that I want to do better at, because I can promise you, like if on a monthly basis, I'm looking at that ladder step and I'm continuously painting that picture, that it's going to make the progress in the business a lot better.
Well, it is important, I think, for people to see incremental progress. It's motivational 100%. To them, right? I mean, to feel like you're getting something done.
Yeah.
There's a gratification that comes from that. It says, oh, good,
And then I think that if you paint that picture, but then you don't insist on other people looking at it, and if it's not something that you're reviewing together as a team, then you're losing that as well.
Just had that discussion this morning too, because the same guy was like, so you go through the process and you develop a new strategic plan for a business, okay, or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But how do you make sure that they actually do it?
Yeah.
And I said, one thing that I've learned is it's not good enough that let's have a mid-year check on our business plan. Mm-mm. I said, you got to have a weekly review with the people involved.
Yeah, you really do.
This is what we said we do this week.
Yep.
Are we doing it? Okay. It just takes a constantly going back to that thing.
Yep.
And most of us don't have the patience or discipline or the quote time to do that, but it's necessary.
Ready to level up your show? Podcastvideos.com is the premier podcast recording studio, equipped with industry-leading technology to save you time and hassle. We specialize in marketing and distributing your podcast, ensuring it reaches listeners everywhere. From eye-catching promos to targeted social media outreach, we help grow your brand and audience. Visit podcastvideos.com today, and let's elevate your podcast game together.
Another thing I think is important in leadership and entrepreneurship is you are the trainer in every single department.
Sure.
You have to be the one that kickstarts the training on that, and you have to be the one that continues to come back and train. I was thinking the other day, like, this is such a nemesis in business, right? But take, for example, a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
If they set the rule on how you wash the dishes, right. They set the rule on how you wait on your customers. They set the rule on the menu items. They set the rule on the host. They set the rule on the transactions.
Right, I get it.
The payment form, right? But they have to be the one that does that.
Right.
A corporate leader wouldn't do all those things.
Yeah.
They have people that do those things.
Right.
But as a leader in an entrepreneur business, you need to understand really well. It is absolutely 100% your responsibility and leadership on every single one of those things.
That's why, it's funny. Again, I was just thinking yesterday, what if I had a restaurant?
Yeah.
And because I was reading about these turnaround stories that I have my students writing papers on right now, and I was grading papers.
Yeah.
And one of them was a pizza restaurant. It was like going out of business, used to be good, and it's just like a chain. Somebody handed it over to their daughter or whatever. It's all winding down. Nobody cares. And then, new ownership comes in, and lo and behold, they do like 30% better the first year right away. Mm-hmm. I was thinking to myself, if I had a pizza restaurant, I would be involved in every single detail to make sure that the food is outstanding, the service is outstanding, there's nothing weird, there's no problem, nobody answers the phone and sounds like they're dead. Okay, I mean, just all of it. I'd be involved in every single thing to make it good.
You have to be, Mark, because guess what? If you do not, back to my original point about the finance thing.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not being negative. It's just reality. But this is my problem as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I have thought that things were real that aren't real for so long. And now I'm old and I'm tired of acting like they're real. The reality is that if you own this pizza restaurant and you depended on somebody, a manager that you hired, you go and order all the agreements or all the ingredients to my pizza and you work with whatever vendor you want to. I trust in you, and I'm going to go over here and watch this.
Yeah.
I can swear to you.
Oh, I know.
I swear to you. You'll get the shittiest cheese, the worst pepperoni, whatever.
They won't be laid out right on the pizza itself, right? Or whatever.
The boxes will come late. You'll be out of inventory. I mean, like, you can't do it. And to live in a reality of where you can hire good people in a small business and they just take care of things the right way,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. Your chances of it
Not early on, at least.
That's
not
what I'm talking
in
about.
the early to mid
I'm
stage.
talking startup, right?
Yeah, early to mid
Yes.
stage.
Yeah, because to your point earlier, there's different phases.
Right,
You start getting into second
That's
stage
the
growth.
thing. Then
you get org charts.
my
Now you need to
approach
be a
needs
different
to
type.
change. Yeah.
That's right. You need to become a different leader.
Yeah. Now, some people will say, well, that's what we need to hire professional management. And that's where I depart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to
I'm
be
out.
replaced by professional management
Yeah.
entirely. I can tell you that because, maybe they can do certain things well, but if you lose the spark, that's the entrepreneur that's got the vision that just keeps relentlessly focusing on the vision, you'll fail too. You can have
100%.
great systems and processes and everything
You
else.
just said the third thing I think is required as a leadership as an entrepreneur is the energy.
Yes, the energy.
That's what the leadership is all about.
Sure.
Is the energy you bring every day, despite the obstacles, despite the problems, despite the naysaying, the words no, all the doubts, the whining, the complaining, the tiredness, the exhaustion, the more time off, the more pay, all these things that are hovering in the business. You as an entrepreneur are still charging ahead. And I'll give a great analogy, right, to this.
I'm making notes.
Corporate leadership is like General Patton.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurial leadership is like freaking Braveheart.
Mm-hmm.
We can all understand that. Patton.
Yeah. He wasn't right on the front line.
Right.
Taking bullets.
And he didn't start the war.
Yeah.
Braveheart was both of those. I love entrepreneurship is summarized in the movie Braveheart. You remember when Mel Gibson showed up and the other, Scottish armies were there and they went to let's go talk to, England's army before we fight. And Mel rides up there on his horse and his face is painted half blue. And he just goes in a circle as they're talking and he's just giving the death smile to them the entire time. Like that is entrepreneurship. Those other people on the horses negotiating, talking, being proper, that's corporate. But there's nothing, it's just a difference.
You're right.
Mel Gibson, that scene was completely, it was opposite. It was contrasting to what they were trying to accomplish. It was not normal.
Right.
It was weird.
Yeah.
They laughed at him.
Why be normal?
That's it though, man. That's what's required to start up a business. That's what's required to get going. And that energy, that fight, that grit. And guess what? Braveheart had his own followers too.
Yeah.
But they certainly weren't the entire country of Scotland.
Sure.
It wasn't England, right? But he had his clan. And they made a massive difference in spite of all the big organization in corporate.
Yep.
That's what we do. We're disruptors.
Yep. Although that's a cliche now. I'm disruptive. Okay. Sorry. It's just every cliche. I'm so damn tired. I put something on LinkedIn the other day about storytelling. I am so tired of hearing that term. In fact, I was talking to my older brother, who was the chairman of a 100 and some odd company group of WPP group. Mm-hmm. He told me he banned the use of that term years ago.
Storytelling.
Because I don't want to hear that ever again. Just don't ever say it. It's so funny. He thinks it's like, you're genetically related.
But he's more polished than you.
Oh, far more polished. Oh my God.
He's what we call a leader, a corporate leader.
Yeah, he was, exactly.
And you're an entrepreneur.
He made the transition though. Yeah.
Well, you either want that or you don't. Like entrepreneurs, I think when they hit that corporate leadership, stuff a lot of them won't do it. Like they don't want it.
Yeah, you're right.
They just don't want it.
Yeah, but I want to come back to something that you were saying about here.
Braveheart.
That is one of our talking points today. And I think it's important. 60% of small business owners cite uncertainty about the future as their biggest challenge. Okay. You know what? You can't worry about it.
No.
There are things that you cannot control. The more you obsess about things that are out of your control, the worse off you're going to be.
Yeah.
work on what's within your control. Again, I'll come back to Matt Lewis and his management philosophy. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt's got an answer for any problem. If you ever want to talk to the guy about anything you're dealing with, he'll give you an intelligent response on how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
He says that's something he always tells his people.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about what you can't control.
I agree.
And focus on the things that you can.
I agree.
Okay.
I had somebody just a few days ago that looked at me and she was like, I said, I haven't watched the news in 25 years. And she goes, oh, Howie, you got to watch the news. I'm like, I don't watch the news. And she's like, you've got to be involved in what's going on. And I'm like, you know why I don't?
Yeah, because it's negative.
Well, because it's distracting and it doesn't matter to me. Like I stay so focused on what I have to do. I don't even have the time.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't, you know what I'm saying? Because like, it doesn't matter.
I still take too much of that in. I agree with you. Now, the only place I'll say that it does help is if you want to invest in the public stock market.
Oh, sure.
You really have to tune into the news.
No, you have to.
Because it impacts everything so much. That's not what we're in.
Now, I watch industry news related to my industry every day. Like I'm constantly learning about AI. I'm constantly, just relentlessly.
I could spend 1/10 of the time that I do on it, and it's not helping. I totally understand.
Well, that's something that you should change then, Mark.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I hear you.
Because just like Jim Morrison with The Doors said, the future's uncertain and the end is always near.
Yeah.
Let it roll, baby roll.
Well, there's two things are certain: death and taxes, right? The rest of it is not.
All right, hey, Mark, we got to wrap up, man.
Okay. Well, let's do.
Okay. Did you have one more point, though? Well, we got.
No, I mean, I think this is really good, though. We've really separated out maybe the difference in corporate and small business.
Yeah, and I think to me, that's my big caution, right? Don't get confused, because I was confused for decades, man.
Like thinking you needed to be like a corporate and you're failing if you're.
Yes, that was it. But the whole time I'm leading, incidentally, just by being energetic, and I'm not even realizing that I'm leading.
Yeah.
And like, what's that responsibility I really have over here versus looking over here, reading books and trying to be this type of leader?
Yes. No.
For a team that I don't even have.
Yeah, you make sense. You really do. You make a lot of sense.
Because what I found is that there's people that have worked with me in my companies that have said that I'm a good leader for them. Mm-hmm. Right. And I really don't know. It certainly wasn't because I was practicing leadership principles from corporate America, but it was because I was relentless with the vision. I brought the energy and I worked in the business, just like you said, dude.
No, it's true. You do all those things.
If I clean that toilet seat, that's leadership.
I know. And you got clean toilets here.
Dude, I'm telling you, we talked about that.
We've said that before, but every time I have to use the bathroom here, I'm grateful that it's such a delightful experience.
And that makes my heart warm. It really does.
Well, on that thought,
it really does.
We will end this.
The fact that you enjoyed it, not any other reason.
And listen, if you're a 67-year-old guy who drinks a lot of coffee and tea and has prostate problems, you'll be visiting that bathroom frequently.
Great.
But no. Anyway, this has been great, and I think we need to wrap it up. Clearly, another episode of Big Talk about Small Business.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of Big Talk about Small Business. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming shows, be sure to head over to our website, www.bigtalkaboutsmallbusiness.com, and click on the Ask the Host button for the chance to have your questions answered on the show. Stay connected with us on LinkedIn at Big Talk About Small Business. And be sure to head over to our website to read articles, browse episodes, and ask questions about upcoming shows.